This is Anthony from Supernal Magazine Australia and our interview series, and we have Carissa Watts with us. How are you, Carissa, and thanks for joining us.
Hi Anthony, yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Carissa, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
Yep, I live on Boonwurrung country, which is on the Mornington Peninsula. My family is from up near Barmer, so I'm a Yorta Yorta Dja Dja Wurrung woman. Yorta Yorta being up on the Dungala, which most people know as the Murray River, up in Barmer Forest, but also Dja Dja Wurrung being north of Bendigo, so up at a place called Mount Hope.
I know where Mount Hope is.
Ah.
Okay. I have a very good friend of mine that lives up in Bendigo who's also connected with the Yorta Yorta people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
cool.
and she's in the north of Bendigo as well. So there you go.
Oh.
I'll talk to you about that more later.
Yeah.
So, sorry, keep going. You're part of that community now over on the Mornington Peninsula?
Yeah, so I grew up on the Mornington Peninsula, and yeah, I love living there, and I work in the city, so I'm all over the place.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Now, you have been in the recording studio, and we're going to talk about the fact that you are a singer-songwriter and that your music is very much connected to country and people. Tell us about the recording experience and your first album that's coming up, which is very exciting.
Well, I've been playing music, writing music for many years now, and I've been avoiding the studio as much as possible, but now, you know, it's one of those things that you have to do to get your music out there. So I've been at Bakehouse Studios for the last couple of weeks, which is in Richmond. It's challenging in the studio. It's an environment that I don't feel very comfortable in. It's not a very natural environment. So I've tried many different ways of recording in that environment, and now it's just going to be a live album. So live in the studio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. And so what's the content behind the songs?
So I sing, I mainly write songs about country, being on country, with nature, but also a lot of issues that we have in our communities, things that, you know, my family has had to go through. So a lot of that comes out in my songwriting as well. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Now the other part of that is, so this will be your first album. When are you expecting to launch?
Hopefully in the next couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've still got more time in the studio. So yeah, hopefully this year sometime. I don't want to put any pressure on it or anything.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. I got to say, we've got 4 albums out now, mostly not full albums. So some of them have only got 5 tracks, some of them have got 20 tracks. But yeah, I always just get nervous going inside the studio to work.
Yeah, and I find I'm always changing my mind after every session what I want to do next. And,
and yeah, I know all of that. Yeah. And you're doing it by yourself.
Yes.
We do it. There's 5 of us in our band, so it's a bit nuts. But that's all right. That's great. Now, you also, I think a part of this, your experience is your work. Tell us about your
so my music life, my life in general, and my work kind of all entwine. I work at the Koori Heritage Trust as a cultural awareness facilitator. So we basically teach people what they didn't learn in school, what they don't hear on the media about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, mainly in Victoria. So we teach a lot of the true history of this country, and also ways that businesses, organisations can work with us while creating a culturally safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is that just for business, or can anybody that wants to learn find out about this?
So we mainly do businesses, but we also do have smaller individual groups like I had today, which was, you know, individuals booking in on those sessions as well, just for their personal knowledge.
I think that's a great idea. And so how would people access that if they wanted to find out more?
Yep.
How could they go about that?
Just on the Koori Heritage Trust website. Yeah, on the internet. Okay. Yeah.
And what are the sort of main issues you find that crop up, the same issue with every group? What crops up all the time?
It's always so different and so diverse, the groups and the people that we get in. There isn't one main thing that tends to be a theme. But what I do find is a lot of people don't know much at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what they learn is quite, I guess, confronting. A lot of people will leave the session feeling a bit guilty or ignorant because they didn't know these things. But we don't do them to make people feel that way. It's all about education, and we understand there's reasons why people don't know these things because it's not on mainstream media, it's not taught in our education system.
Mm-hmm. So this is in relation to how Indigenous people have been treated here, how they've not been looked after as people. These are the sorts of things.
The things we touch on many different topics. We do one topic which is the history through our eyes. So that is all history from first contact
Mm-hmm.
and what this country was founded on, and how all of those things still affect our people today, whether that be through intergenerational trauma or the same issues are still going on in our communities. So, and we also talk about some more positive things as well, just some knowledge and facts about our people, how to implement what you learn into the workplace. Just how to be a bit more culturally aware and culturally safe.
Well, I think that's the thing. I mean, it's easy enough to sort of say to people, be culturally aware, but if you're not aware, if you're not told,
Yeah.
Or told is probably the wrong word, if it's not explained in the right way,
Yeah.
I think most people might get upset. They might rebound with their own anger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's we try and create this a safe space when we're taking the session. So, and reinforce to people that it's, we're not there to make people feel bad or guilty, but it's stuff that you need to know. I think everybody should be learning this kind of stuff, not just for their workplace, just for life in general and living in this country. It's really important. A lot of people, everyone learns a lot in these sessions and gives them a different outlook on the way that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people live, and the things that we go through in our daily lives as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important that this stuff is being taught.
I can't agree more, to be honest. How long would a session typically last for people coming in?
We do all different lengths. So some businesses will only have 2 hours. Our general half-day ones, about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. We've also got full-day sessions. So obviously there's a lot of content. So with the 2-hour sessions, it's really hard to get all that information out for people. So we do prefer people come in for a whole day and have a discussion as well and be able to have conversation about it too.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think the more people understand that there's a way to learn that won't be confrontational, as in people confrontational.
Yeah.
The content might be.
Yeah, there's some pretty heavy content, but it's the truth and it's what happened. So it's important that people do open themselves up to that and accept that too.
Are you finding, because there is a lot in the media at the moment about treaty going to getting a voice in Parliament, about cultural awareness, restoring the language. There's so many things going on. Are you finding that people are showing more curiosity, more a willingness to want to actually participate and help and sort things out?
Yeah, definitely. I do feel like, well, from when I was a child and my dad was around, there's no way that this stuff was being so openly talked about. So I feel like things are changing. Obviously, there's still a lot of issues going on that are going to take a long time to get through. But in general, I think that there's a lot more people that, genuinely care and want to learn more. which is really nice.
Which is a really good thing.
Mm.
No, that's great. From a point of view of how you feel personally, in your life, did you experience much in the way of nastiness because of being Indigenous?
Not so much personally for me. Obviously, I don't have that stereotypical look or anything, so I didn't ever experience racism or anything growing up because of the way I looked. But I find even now with people that I know that can't understand that I do identify as being Aboriginal, you've definitely still got that underlying racism, and people don't even realise that they're being racist, you know, by questioning your identity, questioning who you are. So, yeah, I might not have experienced that racism, you know, growing up by the way I looked, but I still experience it today, even, you know, in groups of friends and stuff that don't quite understand my identity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the whole identity thing really I find fascinating because it's not just Indigenous. You know, one of our writers has been writing about transgender and how they get treated,
Yeah.
and other parts of the LGBTQI community. I mean, it's all this, I don't know, people that just can't be open and honest and just accept people for who they are, you know, regardless of race, colour, bent.
Yeah. Yeah, so that all falls under cultural safety, because everybody has a culture, whether it is their sexuality, whether it is their gender preference. That is your culture, and that's who you are and your identity. So we do talk about that in our cultural safety workshops that we run. When you're challenging someone for who they are or how they identify, that's, you know, that can be really damaging to that person. So it's really important that people just start to open up and respect people for who they are. So
yeah, well, that's it. I mean, and there are so many issues in all communities. You know, domestic violence, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't matter what culture you come from; it's there, and it's got to be discussed, and it's got to be open and frank. That's the way I feel, anyway. If we're talking about now a suggestion for people coming from you, Carissa, from the heart, what would your suggestion for people to be, to go do, to look at, to be involved in? How do you see something positive that you could say to somebody, hey, try this and it's going to be good?
immerse yourself into our events and our community, and you'll see. Sorry, you'll soon see that it's not like what you see on TV. We do amazing things. Wonderful people in our community. Yeah, just, you know, there's so many positive things going on in our community, in the arts community for Aboriginal people. You know, sporting communities, everything. So, just come along and just be a part of it, and you'll learn and you'll connect, and it'll, yeah, you don't see that stuff on mainstream media or
No.
yeah.
Hence why we're having a talk.
Yes.
But that's the thing. That's why I want us to be different. We're not mainstream media.
Yeah.
We're spiritual, bent, non-judgmental.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So it's good. All right. So thank you for allowing us to have a chat and being a part of what Supernal's all about. So thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks.